What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Keith Mills, and today I'm here with my guy,
Studio Breeze. What's good with you guys?
And today we thought we pull back the curtain a little bit and talk a little bit about ourselves and talk about the top 5 games to get to know us. And we're going to start off with a banger. We're going to share this opinion because this just means so much to us. We're talking about Skyrim. What hasn't been said about Skyrim at this damn point, bro?
Skyrim, man, 11/11/11 changed my life.
Getting that shit tatted, bro.
You know, even though I got it for Christmas that year, I didn't get it on 11/11. It's still it was the first open world RPG that I had where, you know, you made that character, you spent that time, boy. You spent like damn near an hour really crafting the exact look you wanted, and you went on that journey, and it just hit different, man. There's no other type of experience that I had that had me going in for hundreds of hours easily. It was like the first game I ever put over 100 hours in. And it was nothing. It was like I could do so much more. I think at that time I hadn't even beat the game. I was just going through side quests and just different missions, just exploring different caves and caverns, and just really lost myself. You know, I had Skyrim psychosis, I called it. I started seeing dragons in real life, getting ready to pull the sword out.
That's some real shit.
Got crazy.
The hallucinations,
got crazy.
Bro. And it's like 100 hours. And you did that. We did that multiple times. Not even just on, you know, different characters with that particular, you know, version of Skyrim. We're talking across entire generations. I've done at least one 100-hour playthrough on, you know, each console I bought it on. And like you said, a lot of the time you're just doing like side missions and things like that because the story's a little underwhelming, sure, but the side content is where the fun is at, and it's a very odd experience, you know, because I'm a story guy, and I found the most fun in a lot of intricate like story moments within those that side content. And sure, the combat wasn't like, you know, as advanced as it could have been, and, you know, glitches galore, and we played it on PS3, so we had probably the worst version to have, but the magic was still fucking there, bro. And it's like we could have had another life. We could have been playing Kings of Alamur, and we've seen how that went. And not to say that's a bad game or anything like that. It actually does a lot, you know, I'd say a little bit better than Skyrim, but bro, you just, that sauce, that
From the
magic.
factions, the side quest lines, from down the vampire quest line, from the DLC, the expansions, the amount of content that was added to that game, from the mods, and Skyrim will forever live. Like, it's one of those games that's just gonna just continuously, and it's loved so much by the community, it's just gonna live forever, more so than any other game that Bethesda's created.
And had the game just came out and then they moved on and, you know, nothing happened, I'm not sure how, you know, Skyrim would be looked at today. But if it wasn't for the community with the mods, bro, we now can experience our childhood together with Skyrim together, the mod. And while it's a little glitchy, it's fucking beautiful, bro, that this can even exist, this game, bro, because, and you can alter it to make it, you know, harder, so you're not just, you know, breezing through it. And it's just like, bro, we were kids when this game came out, and now, you know, we're still waiting on the sequel. But the fact we can experience something like this together, and for the most part, you can experience the entirety of Skyrim. Story, side quests, you got to kind of do it in weird ways, but you can pretty much experience the entire thing. It's, back then we thought this would be impossible, you know, and it really adds to the game, not just this mod, but all the mods. You can change the combat, the visuals, the UI, all that shit, to make it play almost like an entirely different game, adding quests and things like that. And shit, I've showed people, you know, 2 separate videos, they had no idea that was Skyrim. And shout outs to the community for keeping this game alive, because it's 100% unequivocally one of the best games ever made.
Absolutely. So that's both of our number one on the list. We're not even putting this in an order, but that's number one for both of us. Beyond this is just whatever comes next. But that, to be honest, I'll say for me, next up would be Dragon Ball Z Tenkaichi 3, Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Excuse me, blasphemy over here. Now, growing up, once again, super duper anime fan. Dragon Ball Z is like one of the earliest shows. Between that, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh, Tenkaichi 3 was just the game that made it, to this day, still feels the most Dragon Ball like simulator. Like the closest you could actually feel to playing Dragon Ball, that's the game. Like Spark and Zeroes, you know, it's a great game. I do love the game. Raging Blast, great game. You know what I'm saying? Also love the game. But Tenkaichi 3, it's just something about the sauce, whatever sauce they was cooking that day in that kitchen when that dropped, it just can't be replicated. It just can't be replicated, not all the way. And because these other games have a similar DNA, but it's just, it'll never replicate the feel, the fun, the moments, the hype, the competition that you know comes from Tenkaichi 3. So that's next up for me.
Family Recipes definitely been thrown out, bro. We thought we was going to get that same feeling with Spark and Zero, but some would say it actually is less of a game than maybe BT3 was. Am I one of those people? Maybe. Definitely in a lot of ways, it definitely felt a lot shorter than BT3 did, especially with like side content. But yeah, bro, BT3, man, shout outs, bro. That's a staple right there.
Yeah, definitely.
So for my next game, it's also a game from my childhood. Bully, the redheaded stepchild of Rockstar, man. I feel like at this point it's no longer underrated because I feel like even there are a lot of people now that really do talk for a Bully sequel, and I've been one of those people for the longest. Out of all the, like, it deserves it, bro. I understand the hype behind GTA, I really do, and it really sucks that money has been prioritized because Bully should have got a sequel. It should have got a sequel, I'd argue, before like GTA 4 came out. And that was like 2008.
Before Red Dead.
Before Red, I love me some Red Dead, but like Bully, bro, it's a travesty, and it's like the reason why it doesn't have a sequel is because they can't figure out how to monetize it properly. It's probably what it is, because it's so easy how you can monetize GTA Online. How can you do that for a Bully? We have, once again, we're talking about modders. They've made an online server for Bully, and they've added so many mini games and things like that. And that's another game that I never thought I'd be able to experience from my childhood with other people. And it just really sucks that game was really abandoned and really shown no love since the remaster that it got on Xbox 360 and the ports here and there from PlayStation 3 to 4 and all that. So it's a real travesty, and it breaks my heart that they left that behind, because that game is the soul that it has, makes it a classic, makes it timeless to me.
Definitely can agree. Shout out to Rockstar for that. I need to bring that back. Next up for me, it's got to be God of War 3 specifically, because that thing I remember when I played that was one of the first PS3 games that I played, and by God, you could tell they put the rent on those cutscenes. The beginning of that game is one of the hardest beginnings ever, bro. We on the back of Gaia, pulling up on Mount Olympus, yelling at Zeus from the bottom with the blade of Olympus, and we're just ready to go ham, and we're just murking gods left and right. It was immaculate, bro. I'm talking about dopamine overrush. There's not too many games that start off like quite like God of War 3 did. And it really, Helios, oh my God, boy, I'm telling you, all within the first hour or two, you murk quite a few gods and get quite a few new like upgrades from the Bow of Apollo, Helios' head, Boots of Hermes, like very, very, very quickly. And it's just so like I said, it's a dopamine overrush. The combat is super duper versatile. The graphics are beautiful and still hold up to this day. Like, it's just, God of War 3 was different. And while I am happy that they did pivot and went a different route and kind of changed the combat system quite drastically, I would say, actually, to a completely different style of game, from the over-the-shoulder third person, more to slow, rather than the third person hack and slash. It still has that fun feeling, but it's almost DMC like, but still, God of War was still at its own like sauce even back then, and it's crazy how different it is nowadays. But like I said, God of War 3 will always have a special place in my heart. And yeah.
Unpopular opinion, is the intro to God of War 3 better than 2018?
Absolutely. I don't know if that's unpopular. I'm gonna say that, and I'm gonna stand on it.
I kind of think it is unpopular, and unfortunately, I'm standing on that. I'm dying on that hill with you, brother. Bro, fighting fucking Poseidon on that bitch.
Baldur's cool and all.
Yeah, Poseidon's boss fight versus Baldur's boss fight. It's like spectacle versus
gritty,
storytelling.
1-on-1.
Spectacle versus storytelling. There we go. Spectacle versus storytelling is the best way to go. Because to really get someone in the seat for the game, I would tell them, nigga, play God of War 3. If obviously, if you're not like, caring about the story or anything like that. But, and this is one thing, we're not shitting on 2018. It's just the way those games roped you in with that, like you said, power fantasy. That power fantasy is intoxicating. And that type of power fantasy is not necessarily there in the newer ones, I must admit. But yeah, bro, oof, that sauce was different back then, man. My next game, it is going to be Demon Souls. This was the very first Souls game I ever like sat down and really genuinely played, and it beat my ass. It really did. But I got hooked, and I beaten it with my with one character like 9 times, and it was in a very, very like scary like time frame. I was doing it too fucking fast. It was weird. I was addicted to that shit, and it really set me on a path to for the Soul series, because the more I started playing it, the more I realized that it's a little bit more than a game, and that's why I love it so much. It's like the perfect metaphor for life. You're walking down the street, you're seeing all these people going about their day, just like you would see the little the ghost of other people running around the map, going about their day, going through the area, running to the boss or whatever. And you see all these people on their journey, and at the end of the day, we're all on our own little journey. And every now and then you get some help from some people, just like you do with the spirits. And, you know, not to get too deep or whatever, but yeah, that's just, I love these games because it holds a mirror up to life, and it made me understand a little bit more about, you know, mental toughness and grit and getting good. So yeah, Demon Souls, love you, buddy. Sequel? Probably not, but oh well.
Right. Speaking of things that need a sequel, we're going with Jak 3 once again.
Here we go.
I'm bringing it back again. I'm trying to tell you, I was living out my power fantasy as a Mad Max desperado and the most cartoony, elvish looking character with a wisecracking weasel by my side, and I couldn't have been more happier as a young preteen, man. Jak 3 just hit different. The combat, like I've said before, the customization for your vehicles, the vehicular combat, the races, the story, it's just such the open worldness of it all. The Jak 3 is one of the ones I can't believe it was a PS2 game. You know, it really stood the test of time. Like to this day, it still looks great. And I don't necessarily think we need a remake. I just want a sequel. Just give me a modern day sequel of Jak and the Gang, and you know, or if you want to, like I said before, you could make a remake, but you got to start from the first one. Start from the first one, and then make that more of like an actiony platformer, not more of a collectathon. You know, rectify that, please. And then you got me. I'm buying all three of them.
I say
so. Yeah, Jak 3 for sure.
A reboot, but just starting with the aesthetics of like Jak 2 and 3 with that darkness and the eco powers and all that, instead of, you know, worrying about the Philosopher's Legacy or whatever that shit was called, those fucking stones or whatever. And yeah, have it really just focused on that, because it was such a dramatic change from 1 to 2. So having that be the journey from the start or whatever, would be fantastic. I'm not gonna lie. Especially we've got like Astro Bot. You've seen how platformers nowadays really are performing and how much different they are. Graphically, you know, aesthetically and all that. I would love to see like a Jak and Daxter with like the Kenna Bridge of Spirits graphics, bro. Oh my lord.
Now you're cooking. Now you're definitely cooking with that. That's exactly what the streets need. We need that level of polish for Jak.
They won't be quiet until we get that.
Exactly. So what's your last game, man?
For my final game, I'm going to talk about the beloved series, Metal Gear. I was a wee little lad. I was 7 years old when I played Metal Gear Solid 2. And that literally changed everything. Changed how I view video games, how I view stories. It made me want to be a writer. I started writing my own little stories back then, to the point now where one day I hope to write my own anime and video games and all that. And it really started with that game. It showed me at a very young age, I couldn't even comprehend the shit that was being shown to me at that age, but I could just tell it was something different from what I've experienced before, you know? And if I'm not mistaken, I played games like around that time. I was playing like Bully and GTA San Andreas, but that was like the first time I felt like the story and its presentation was first and foremost. And I just fell in love with that. And I've beaten that game so many times, it's not funny, on multiple consoles. That's the game I definitely played the most out of my life. Somehow, more than Skyrim, I know, with the 100-hour campaigns. It was a point where I was beating that at once a year, and I kept that streak going on for like a decade. The series means so much to me. It's my favorite game series of all time. And without it, I wouldn't be the gamer I am today.
Damn. That's interesting, because for my last pick, I actually have probably my favorite game series of all time. I've played every single game that's actually come out for it, and that's Devil May Cry. But we talk about Devil May Cry 3 specifically today. DMC 3 from early out on this, I played this as well at a very early age. It definitely put me on to a deeper story, more nuanced, and as well as having amazing tight gameplay. It was one of the first games that I felt like really had it all, because back in the day, it just felt like games either had really good gameplay or they were like more story based, and the gameplay was just kind of serviceable. This was the first one where like I was engaged in the story. I wanted to know more about these characters, more about the bond, more about why these brothers weren't, well, the bond wasn't really there, and why, you know, more about Lady and her relationship with her father. Like the more and more you got deeper into that tower, the more and more it sunk me in. You know, even with the backtrack, the ridiculous Metroidvania style backtracking that the series is known for, I still loved it because it just meant more of the game to play for me. And as well as just later on in the series, I'll shout out to DMC 4 and 5 as well, as far as introducing other characters other than Dante and Virgil to play, and introducing Nero as a new protagonist, which gave a whole lot of new gameplay options in both 4 and 5. It just overall, the series just keeps evolving, and I need that co-op game. I need that DMC 6 to be Virgil and Dante out there
shout out to
doing
V.
that thing
Shout
in
out
hell.
to V, right?
V was whatever.
No, fuck V. Say how it really is.
No, yeah, literally fuck V. But but I need that. DMC to the death of me, bro. DMC is the king of hack and slash, and that's it. That's all.
I do have to say though, once again, another fucking game we did not expect to experience together because of mods. The camera's wonky as hell, but other than that, it adds so much to it. It feels like the way we can combo off each other, bro. It's fucking fantastic. It's like what they tried to do with 5 with them, some of them, you know, those co-op missions, but you can do the entire story like that. And then you got the different costumes, so you can really kind of accessorize yourself. Oh man, yeah, fantastic series. And that has been some of the games to get to know us. I feel like we might have to do another one, because there's so many games, I feel like, especially as we gotten older. We touched on a lot of games from our childhoods, but there's definitely games now that has definitely affected me in a very positive way.
That and even more from our childhood, to be honest. So definitely let us know how you guys feel about our picks. What are some of your picks that, you know, really mean to you as far as games that you experience, whether it be from your childhood or from recent memories? And Keith, anything else before you take us out?
Oh, sir. I'm Keith.
And I'm Breeze.
And the struggle art continues.
Be breezy.